Hey guys, this is Punisher from Don't Revive Me Bro and WalkingDeadArmy.com, and I wanted to go through my Sony Vegas settings that I use to render my Battlefield 4 gameplay footage. It's something that I have just recently kind of fine-tuned, and and I wanted to share that with you to make it easier for you, because I've hunted all over YouTube trying to find the best render settings for Sony Vegas, and to be honest with you, none of them had all of the tools together, and it took like 4 or 5 videos before I pieced all the pieces together and finally got a video that's really looking good. So anyway guys, I wanted to just go through that with you so that you can put those gameplay videos out there, and it looked good. So anyway, I wanted to start first of all, if you're starting fresh, okay, you're going to want to start, hit your file and go to new here. Okay, and that's going to bring up your project settings. Now here you see I have a template saved. Okay, this is what I use as my Punisher YouTube. Okay, you can have a template and name it pretty much anything that you want, but I wanted to show you how I started it. Okay, now for YouTube, you got to remember YouTube only records renders at 30 frames per second. Okay, so to be honest with you, there's really no reason to record any higher than that, or render any higher than 30 frames per second. Okay, so I use this template here. Okay, now you see it's brought in and pre-selected these settings. Okay, now you can go in, you can actually manually change this to whatever you want. Okay, just type it in, but 1920 by 1080 is what I play in, it's what I record in. Okay, and I record in 30 frames per second because my Live Gamer Portable, because it's USB 2.0 at this resolution, only records at 30 frames. Anyway, another thing here, okay, you want to make sure you leave this at 1. Okay, it's square. Okay, you do this, you put it at 1.3, which is going to be your 16 by 9 resolution. You're going to have the black letter boxes here on the left and right. Okay, so you don't want that. You want to leave that there. Okay, so leave it at 1. Okay, now come down here. Okay, this would also stay at 1. This is going to stay at 32-bit floating point for your pixel format. Your view transform, okay, you want to have this to off. Okay, if you have it set to one of these other formats, what you're going to have is you're going to have some discolored video. It really brightens up colors like the oranges and the blues and stuff, and it just kind of looks really funky. So unless you're doing some crazy affected montage or whatever, if you just want your gameplay and you want the colors to look just like what Battlefield is, you want to leave this to off. Full resolution, okay, you want this to be at best. Okay, that's what you want. Okay, motion blur, of course, is Gaussian. You want to leave that there. You have all these different selections, but just leave it at Gaussian. Interlace method, I have that here at none, and these are default settings, so you shouldn't have to go in and change these. Okay, now I like to do this. I like to have this checked. Adjust the source media to better match your project render settings. Okay, and then you can start all new projects with these settings. That way you don't have to go back. But make sure though that once you have this set, okay, that you go in and you rename this. So just highlight this, and you can just type it, whatever you want, and then just hit save, and now you've got a template that's got a name on it that you can easily pick out from your menu list. So, and then once you're done with that, you hit OK. Now your project settings are set for that, and then it's just a matter of dragging in some some video footage. Okay, so here I'll just go into my video drive here, and I'll pick out some gameplays. You can see I've got a ton of gameplay that I have to go through. So select that. Now I've dragged those 2 videos into my content folder here, and you can either drag them up here, or you can drag them right straight down to your timeline. Either way, it seems like I've copied 2. So anyway, now here I've dragged some video down into my timeline. Okay, these 2 files here. Okay, now before you go and clip in this thing, okay, because what I'm going to show you is I can go in and I can clip this, and what's happened is now, you know, one of the things you need to go do is you need to go into properties for this video clip, and you need to deselect your desample, disable resample, and also uncheck your maintain lock ratio, your aspect ratio. Okay, that's fine. You've just did that, but you know what? This guy's still the same. You know, it didn't change. Okay, so what you need to do is as soon as you drag your clip down here, before you go clipping your in your timeline, splitting your video in your timeline, okay, make sure you go into the properties and change those settings right there. Okay, because what that does by doing that, disabling that resample, it will make your video smooth. Okay, what's happening to me was I was putting out video, I was not going in here and doing that. Okay, and my videos were coming out pixelated once they were on YouTube. Okay, they look great on my hard drive, and when I saw the rendered video, I looked at it, it's like, man, it looks good. But as soon as I put it on YouTube and YouTube processed it, and you went to the video to view it, it looked pixelated, distorted. Okay, anytime you move fast or, you know, anything like that, you had that pixelation, which was just terrible. So disabling, of course, you know, disabling this resample takes care of that. Okay, so now video's done. I'm not going to go in and show you how to edit, you know, do whatever, maybe later, but right now I'm just talking about my settings. So say we're done editing, okay, and I want to put this video and render it all together. Okay, so now I go to render as. Okay, now I have some presets already in here. You know, as you can see here, my Punisher 1080p is what I like to use. Now what I did was I built that from this template right here. Okay, so this is under the main concept ABC AAC, which is, you know, MP4, which is what we're wanting to render as. And so, yep, that Internet HD 1080p. And what I'm gonna do is I'll just bring this up. So, and you can go ahead and custom, you know, bring that customized template up, and I'll, you know, see the settings here for what I've used. Okay, so once again, I've got the, you know, 1920 by 1080. Okay. This is, you know, I've just used, I don't ever mess with this right here. Frame rates, of course, is still 30. Okay, my pixel aspect ratio, okay, it's, once again, you want it at 1, not 1.3, or you'll have letterboxes. Okay, and now here, this is very important. Okay, you want to use variable bit rate because your frame rates are constantly changing in your game. Okay, they go up and down, you know, and what that does is if you were to use a constant bit rate, you would have a bunch of distortion again, and you don't want that. You want your video to be smooth as possible. So you use this variable bit rate, and you want to do 2-pass. Okay, you want to have this selected. Okay, and I use this average here of 20 million bits per second and max it out at 24 million bits per second. Okay, encode mode. Okay, this is very important. You have 3 settings here. Okay, if you have a newer AMD or a newer NVIDIA card, okay, you can use OpenCL or CUDA respectively. Okay, OpenCL, of course, AMD, CUDA for NVIDIA. Okay, so if you have an older card, which I can't imagine you having an older card if you're playing Battlefield 4, but if you have an older card, okay, you might want to render using CPU, but just remember that's putting a lot more load on your CPU, and it will take longer to render. So I suggest using one of these 2 settings. And what's cool about it is if you go to here, okay, you can actually test to see what you got. Okay, and it tells me that my GPU has OpenCL, so I use that. Okay, it cuts down on your render time because it loads your GPU to do rendering, and takes that load off the CPU so that you're actually, you know, are processing better. So 2 processors is better than 1. Anyway, okay, now project settings here. Okay, you want to render it best, and color space, again, you want that to be a default. Okay, and audio, you know, there's varying things here. I personally use 192,000 for my bit rate. That is considered CD quality, and my sample rate's at 48 kilohertz. Okay, either 48 kilohertz or 44.1 kilohertz is standard. Okay, and you can use either one. But okay, that, and then it's just a matter of, hitting that render. But before you do, make sure you have this checked. Stretch video to fill output frames. Okay. That will make sure that you have a full frame video and that there's no black boxes around it. And it's just a matter of hitting render. So guys, I hope this helped you out. You know, getting these video settings is very important to keep your content clean and, you know, to pull in subscribers, because, you know, if you don't have quality videos, you're not going to get subs to your YouTube. But anyway, guys, I hope this helped you out. And don't forget to check out don'trevivemebro.com for the latest news and information concerning Battlefield 4. And if you're looking for a clan, be sure to visit WalkingDeadArmy.com. We recruit 18 and up. You guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later.